Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and we haven't talked about the 8-passenger situation for a little while, but lo and behold, up comes a topic worthy of note. Now, if you've been following the case very carefully, you'll know that Frankie of 8 Passengers, who has been arrested obviously for child abuse allegations, had previously been teaming up with Jodie Hildebrandt on her whole connections, life coaching, parenting tips style operation that they had going, which sounds insane on the face of it. The fact that a couple of these people who have been accused of such horrible crimes against children could ever give advice on parenting. One wonders what the people who took that advice as gospel think about the situation now. But the situation, or the whole thing around life coaching as a whole, has come to the forefront because apparently it doesn't take any form of qualifications in order to become a life coach. Basically, anybody off the street can in fact become a life coach and give life information or advice or helps and counseling to anybody that wants it, for a few dollars here and there, right? So that sounds insane, and it is insane because it's unregulated, this. And as we've seen with Jodie and Ruby, it can cause a lot of issues, and they shouldn't be allowed to do it. Now, the state of Utah are trying to bring forward a law to prevent this sort of situation happening, which is brilliant, by the way, but I don't want it to just stick with Utah because, they're not the only state, or indeed the only country in the world that has a problem with this.
Believes more needs to be done to oversee life coaches all across the state of Utah. It comes as the child abuse case against Frankie and Jodie Hildebrandt continues in court. It is our top story tonight on 2 News at 6. I'm Heidi Hatch.
And I'm Brian Schnee. State Senator David Hinkins says Frankie's own husband asked him to heighten restrictions on these coaches. The state senator says people all over the country are giving out bad advice to their clients, and he questions if many of these coaches are qualified to advise anyone at all.
Now, of course, they're not, obviously. Some may be, but the majority, I would hazard a guess that they are not in fact qualified to advise anybody on these situations. However, it's very interesting to note that Jodie's husband, Kevin Frankie, was the instigator of this, trying to bring forth the laws, because he seems to think that this is the main topic and the main issue at hand that caused their kids to be abused and be in the possession of such a horrible abuser as Jodie was. But what he's forgetting there, of course, is that he himself played a large role in the abuse of his children. Yes, there is the current abuse case, which is Jodie and Ruby, who did horrible things to Ruby's children. But prior to that, there was also the situation whereby Ruby and Kevin collaborated together to display their own form of parental abuse on their kids for about 10 years prior to this whole situation as we have it now.
Paul Nelson is joining us live tonight from the state capitol. And Paul, what started all of this?
Well, according to Senator David Hinkins, it was Frankie's estranged husband, Kevin, who asked him to look into the qualification that it takes to become a life coach in Utah.
Now, my own opinion here is that Kevin is most likely using this to deflect from his own role in the situation of abuse. Now, he's trying to make himself maybe look like the nice guy. He's trying to get people on his side. He's taking an active role in trying to enforce change, which will be positive change, because there's no doubt that this would be a positive change. But he's trying to deflect from his role in the whole situation because he's not innocent by any stretch of the imagination.
As it turns out, there are no qualifications, and he believes that bad advice from unqualified coaches have been ruining families for a long time.
And therein lies one of Kevin's issues. Basically, this situation with the Connections classroom that Jody and Ruby ran together is what he thinks the reason why his family were broken up. Jody helped break up his family, and this is his way of trying to remedy that so that no other families can be broken up in the same way, because he feels like he was wronged. But again, I will reiterate till I'm blue in the face that Kevin is not innocent, and I don't know whether Kevin actually believes that he did anything wrong, because yes, he's not guilty in the case with Ruby and Jody. He wasn't guilty of that. Obviously, he was guilty of not finding out or protecting his kids at that time. That was his responsibility to do so. He just let them go and let them be abused. But he's not thinking about what he was part of for a decade or more, you know, using his kids in the YouTube channel to make money and abuse them on screen for everybody to see. He's not seeing that, and maybe he doesn't believe that that was actually abuse that they were doing whilst at home.
If you look on the Connections Classroom website, you'll see accused child abuser Ruby Frankie described as a, quote, certified mental fitness trainer.
It's just a title that somebody can make up and makes it sound professional when it's really probably not.
There are some companies that sell online courses for what they call mental health fitness training, but District 26 Senator David Hinkins says Frankie was allowed to use that title whether she took the courses or not.
And that's insane to me, right? People who use a title like she did, certified fitness and whatnot guru crap thing that she came up with, right? And she wasn't even that. She wasn't anything. And as we know, Jody was also previously a licensed practitioner, but she got that taken away from her and yet was still unable to, you know, use her powers to charge people lots of money, even though she had her license taken away from her.
I don't think there's anything that stops her from saying that. And I don't know that she's had any background training to be that.
Former clients have been coming forward since Frankie and Connections founder Jody Hildebrand were arrested on allegations of child abuse. One former client, Trey Warner, told KUTV back in September that Connections would use shaming tactics to pit family members against each other.
It started to feel more and more evil. And I finally, in one of the group meetings, I got up and I just said, this is off.
Officials from the Utah Division of Professional Licensing sent a text saying, quote, we do see some complaints that are against life coaches who are former licensed behavioral health practitioners who lost the license and are now practicing as life coaches. The text also said, quote, life coaches are not required to be licensed in Utah. Therefore, there are no standards for the industry.
And again, that's insane, right? I think I'm not alone in thinking that there has to be some form of regulations everywhere, not just in the US, in the UK as well. There needs to be some regulations. Now, the amount of people that I've seen that have said, oh, I'm a life coach, and I've thought to myself, oh, for fuck's sake, no. Seriously, I personally don't take people seriously when they say I'm a life coach, because it means nothing. It really means nothing, right? Anybody can say that they're a life coach. It just means that you've well, you don't even have to read up about it. You can just do it, right? As we can see here. Now, the type of advice that both Ruby and Jody have been dishing out for years is incredible, that people would ever have listened to it. And yeah, it's just insane to me.
End quote.
I think that those that are professing to be life coaches should have some type of a criteria that they need to some credibility.
So yeah, that's the update as we have it. Kevin Frankie trying to save his own skin as far as I can tell, but maybe you have a different opinion. Let me know in the comments down below. Until next time, please subscribe to the channel. I'm looking to get 10k before the end of the year. That would be great. Thank you all so much. Until next time, take care of yourselves and bye bye.